I'm scared. Okay. Oh my god.
Now, girl, I know that you did not just smear blue glitter on your lips. And how did I manage to look good? That's some witchcraft. And now I want that, you know. Here I have the glitter. Is this gonna look good on my lips, though? We will find out right now. But first, some dry shampoo. Wash your hair sometimes, Jesus. I'm also gonna need that eyeliner, ma'am. So I'm just gonna... This line is straighter than half of y'all on this app. I present to you the wing. Are they twins? Are they sisters? Are they even related? Now we gotta do the, you know, that. Period. I'm pleased with the situation. These lashes, they're giving. And just some freckles because it's an obsession at this point. This dark purple lipstick going, but something's telling me to use this. Black never disappoints me, unlike other things in life. I should do this more often. Now I have these three, and I can decide between the purple and the blue. I think it's gonna be the blue. Okay, turquoise, don't attack me. Okay, let's see how this looks. To be fair, like this, it looks really, really pretty. Okay, we're gonna pick up some of it with a brush and... It's a little bit more green than I would like it to be. But I like it. Let me finish this up. I am finally done. My final conclusion would be that I like it. It looks pretty badass. The transition videos I'm gonna do with this, definitely stay tuned for that. But what do you think?
I learned something a bit unsettling about myself while I was having dinner with a friend this past week. We were talking about our origin stories on TikTok, aka how we blew up in the first place and how we gained a lot of our followers and where we are now. As I listened to everyone's stories, I realized we all had one thing in common. All of us started doing our content consistently when we were quarantined and in the middle of a global pandemic. I was feeling extremely depressed and I had hit an all-time low. So I poured everything into my artwork, my time, my effort, my emotions, and out came some of my best work. And now that I'm happy and no longer in that hole, I'm worried that I can't produce the same amount of work that I did before. So I hope I haven't lost that drive and that passion because I really like being happy.
If someone offers you this, walk away. In 2016, a man was staying at his friend's cabin in the woods when he decided to go for an evening stroll. A little ways down the trail, he hears someone call out from behind his neighbor's house. He looks up and he sees this skinny guy pop out from behind the building who starts waving frantically at him to come over. Worried this guy could be in trouble, the man takes off running to assist, but when he gets close enough, the neighbor just offers him a fistful of Slim Jims and starts talking about how much he hates his wife. Sensing there was something wrong with this guy, he says no thank you to the Slim Jims and walks away. The next day, the man calls his friend who owned the cabin to ask him what the deal was with his weirdo neighbor. There was silence on the phone, and then his friend just says, "I don't have any neighbors." The police are called, and it turns out his neighbor was really some lunatic who had recently killed his wife and had been hiding out in the abandoned.
Storytime about my unhealthy obsession with my ex-boyfriend. So a little background information, I was 18 and in 12th grade, and him and I have been dating for about 4 years. And it was around Thanksgiving, so it was pretty much college decision time. I got accepted into UCLA and I was really happy because it was super close to home. And my boyfriend, who we're gonna call Devin, got accepted there also. So I was super excited that we did not have to do the long distance thing. Until a week later, he calls me, and apparently he got some soccer scholarship, so now he's going to Berkeley. So I was like, okay, maybe we can make long distance work. Well, then he tells me that he doesn't want to make it work and he thinks that we should just break up. Well, a week after that, him and I were sleeping together again. So I thought that meant that we were back together. The one day I was leaving his house and I heard his mom talking about me. And she was like, oh, is she coming to the Christmas party? And I was super, super happy. Until Devin says, oh, we're not together anymore and I'm thinking of inviting a different girl. Well, a week later, the party rolls around and I decide that I'm going to show up anyways. Like for part 2.
This is why you should never stay in sketchy motels. In 2005, a young woman on a solo road trip across the country decided to stop for the night. The first place she sees is the Mountaintop Motel. It looked pretty cheap, but she was tired, so she said good enough. The check-in guy eyed her up and down very uncomfortably and then asked her if she was traveling alone. She ignores the question, pays for her room, and then walks away with the key. When she gets inside her room and sees there are literally cockroaches in her bed, she says nope and decides to sleep in her car in the parking lot. Around 3 a.m., she wakes up to see the check-in guy using his own keys to get into the motel room she was supposed to be in. A few minutes later, he storms out and slams the door and starts walking towards her car. Terrified, she hides under her blanket as the man tries to open her car doors but can't and walks away. She speeds off and calls her friend and asks her to look up the address of Mountaintop Motel so she can give it to police. Her friend's quiet for a second and then just says, "The Mountaintop Motel closed a week."
We all know being a beauty addict is expensive, but there are perks of it. I know how to find basically anything with a good discount. Even usually expensive brands have their golden seasons. You know how much I love my Foreo UFO 2, and I have some great news for you. They have amazing offers this Black Friday. The UFO has been my helper during the pandemic as it's the closest to a professional treatment I could get. I love my UFO 2 as it leaves my skin glowing, soft and helps reduce pimples. This is the perfect time to get yourself some new amazing skincare. Foreo has loads of amazing Black Friday deals and you don't want to miss out. You need to go and check out the link in my bio before it's too late.
She could have never guessed what really happened in her basement. Once there was a girl named Brooklyn who moved into an old house with her parents, but there was one door leading to their basement and no one could open it. This made Brooklyn curious, so one day she looked through the keyhole, but she could have never expected what happened next. She saw something moving in the darkness, then quickly coming towards her. As soon as she jumped back, a screwdriver poked through the keyhole. Brooklyn was terrified. She screamed, "Mom, Dad, there's someone in the basement," but no one believed her. Until a few years later, she finally found out the truth, which was even more terrifying than anything she could have imagined. Her family had moved out of the house already, but Brooklyn returned to the area to visit an old friend. She walked by the house and said, "I used to live there," and her friend said, "Yeah, the screwdriver house." Brooklyn instantly had chills. She never told anyone about what happened. She asked, "Why did you just say that?" And that's when her friend told her the story. Shortly after the house was built, a husband, his wife, and their 4 daughters moved in. The wife passed away from a mysterious illness and the husband went insane. He unalived all 4 of his daughters with a screwdriver, then put them all in the basement.
This is why you should never knock on a stranger's door. Once there was a man trying to check into a hotel. The woman at the front desk gave him his key and told him none of the guests are allowed to go into the room across the hall. He agreed, but as he continued to stay in the hotel, he grew more and more curious about the room he wasn't supposed to go in. At one point, he even walked down the hall to that room and tried the door. It was locked. Then he bent down and looked through the keyhole. He saw that it was just the same as his hotel room. But in the corner of the room, there was a woman whose skin was extremely pale, almost a sickly white. Her back was to the wall, so the man didn't see what she looked like. He almost knocked on the door, but then just decided to leave her alone. The next day, he walked past the door again and decided to look into the keyhole. This time, there was no hotel room and no woman. It was all just red. He thought that this seemed really strange, so he went to the front desk and asked about the room. After insisting on an answer, the woman at the front desk told him, "A long time ago, a man killed his wife in that room, and her ghost is still there. But these ghosts are not what you might imagine. They're completely white all over, except for their eyes, which are red."
Down if your boyfriend wants to go skydiving for his birthday, and like the supportive girlfriend you are, you agree to it and don't complain a single time, even though you have a massive fear of heights and you hate flying, and he knows both of this information. So you guys drive 3.5 hours away to a facility where you can skydive. And when you get there, they make you take this informative class about how when you skydive for the first time, which by the way, both me and him were skydiving for the first time, you have to tandem jump. And tandem jump means that you attach to a professional so that when you jump out of the plane, the professional got you. You don't have to do any work. You literally just go along for the jump, okay? So we sign our lives away on a contract after taking the class. We attach to our professionals, go up in the air, and jump out of the plane at 50,000 feet in the air, which is traumatizing, by the way, but you still do not complain once. After the jump, you guys get in the car. Your boyfriend's not talking to you. You're like, hello, what's the problem? Happy birthday. And he's like, I just can't believe you were attached to another man while you were